A corpse floated ashore in Spain carrying secrets that would deceive Hitler himself. But this wasn't just any dead man. He never existed, and the lies chained to his body would redirect the entire course of the Second World War. This is Cluster's story, where we take a deep dive into history to get a great understanding of how we got here. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell, like and share this video. And while history books celebrate D-Day, the Battle of Midway, and the fall of Berlin, they often skip over the shadow operations that made these victories possible. Secret missions so audacious, so impossibly dangerous that their failure could have handed victory to the Axis powers. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on four classified operations that nearly changed everything. These aren't Hollywood fantasies. These are real events that remained buried in classified files for decades. And some of them you've probably never heard of. Operation Mincemeat. Let's return to that corpse washing up on Spanish shores in April 1943. His name was Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. In his briefcase, chained to his wrist, were top-secret documents revealing that the Allies planned to invade Greece and Sardinia, not Sicily. Spanish authorities, sympathetic to Nazi Germany, immediately passed copies to German intelligence. Hitler took the bait. He redirected entire divisions away from Sicily. But here's the twist. Major William Martin never existed. British intelligence had obtained the body of a homeless man who died in London, gave him a fake identity, fabricated love letters from a fictional, planted fake invasion plans, and dumped him in the ocean off the coast of Spain. The operation was so detailed, they even put ticket stubs in his pockets and a photo of his fake girlfriend in his wallet. The Germans never suspected a thing. When the real invasion of Sicily began in July 1943, the island was significantly less defended than it should have been. Operation Mincemeat, one of the most successful deception operations in military history, saved thousands of Allied lives and accelerated the Italian campaign. One dead homeless man, transformed into a phantom officer, had fooled the entire Nazi war machine, the Ghost Army. Now imagine an entire army that doesn't exist. Not just one fake soldier, but thousands of them, complete with tanks, artillery, and trucks. This was the Ghost Army, officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. This unit was composed of artists, sound engineers, and actors. Their mission? To deceive the Germans about Allied troop positions and movements across Europe. They used inflatable tanks that could be set up in minutes. They broadcast recordings of tank movements and troop activity through massive speakers. They created fake radio traffic. They even impersonated generals in local towns, talking loudly in bars about upcoming operations in the wrong locations. Between June 1944 and March 1945, the Ghost Army conducted 20 battlefield deceptions across France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Germany. They often operated within miles of the front lines, completely unarmed, with nothing but creativity and rubber props. If discovered, they would have been slaughtered. One of their most successful operations occurred during the Rhine River crossing. While real forces prepared to cross at one location, the Ghost Army created an entire phantom division 30 miles away. The Germans repositioned to counter the fake threat, leaving the actual crossing point vulnerable. The deception worked flawlessly. The Ghost Army's operations remained classified until 1996. These artists went to their graves without recognition, having saved potentially tens of thousands of lives with nothing but illusions. Operation Gunnerside, February 1943. Norway, 6 Norwegian commandos skied through a blizzard toward the Vemork hydroelectric plant deep in the Norwegian mountains. Their target was the world's only source of heavy water, a critical component Hitler needed to build an atomic bomb. If they failed, Nazi Germany could win the nuclear race and change history forever. The facility was considered impregnable. It sat on a cliff surrounded by gorges, protected by minefields, searchlights, and German guards. The first British attempt to destroy it, Operation Freshman, had ended in disaster. Gliders crashed. Survivors were captured, tortured, and executed. But Operation Gunnerside was different. These men were Norwegian. They knew the terrain. They were skiing and survival experts. After parachuting into Norway and surviving weeks in the frozen wilderness, they reached the plant at night. Rather than using the heavily guarded bridge, they climbed down a steep gorge, crossed an icy river, and scaled the cliff face on the opposite side. They cut through a fence, entered through a cable tunnel, and placed explosives on the heavy water production cells. The entire infiltration happened in silence. Not a single shot was fired. The explosion destroyed over half a ton of heavy water and crippled production for months. The commandos escaped on skis, traveling 300 miles to Sweden. All 6 survived. Hitler's atomic program never recovered. Many historians believe Operation Gunnerside prevented Nazi Germany from developing nuclear weapons. 6 men on skis may have saved civilization as we know it. Operation Anthropoid Prague, May 1942. 2 Czech soldiers, Jan Kuby and Joseph Gab, waited at a hairpin turn with a briefcase bomb and a submachine gun. Their target was one of the most evil men in Nazi Germany, Reinhard Heydrich, the architect of the Holocaust, the man called the Butcher of Prague. Heydrich was Hitler's potential successor. He was brilliant, ruthless, and considered untouchable. His assassination had been ordered by the Czechoslovak government in exile and approved by the British. But everyone knew the reprisals would be catastrophic, as Heydrich's open-top car slowed at the turn. Gab stepped forward and pulled the trigger. The gun jammed. Heydrich stood to shoot back. In that split second, Kuby hurled the briefcase bomb. The explosion ripped through the car, sending shrapnel and debris into Heydrich's body. He died 8 days later from his wounds. He was the highest-ranking Nazi killed by resistance forces during the war. The response was immediate and horrific. The Nazis obliterated the villages of Lidesendla, murdering every man and sending women and children to concentration camps. Over 1,300 people were killed in reprisals. Kuby and Gab, along with other resistance fighters, made a final stand in a Prague church. They fought for 6 hours before taking their own lives rather than surrender. But their sacrifice achieved something profound. It showed the world that the Nazis were not invincible. It energized resistance movements across occupied Europe, and it removed one of Hitler's most capable and dangerous leaders at a critical moment in the war. These operations didn't just influence the war, they changed its outcome. The dead homeless man redirected German divisions. Artists with inflatable tanks saved thousands during river crossings. 6 Norwegians on skis stopped Hitler's atomic bomb. 2 Czech soldiers eliminated one of the most dangerous men in the Third Reich. History remembers the generals and the battles. But wars are often decided in the shadows by people whose names were erased from official records, who operated in complete secrecy, knowing they might never receive credit, recognition, or even survival. The next time you think you know how World War II was won, remember this: the most important victories were the ones nobody saw coming, executed by people nobody knew existed. And many of those secrets are still buried, waiting to be discovered. This has been Cluster Story. If you want more hidden history that changes everything you thought you knew, subscribe now. The past is never what it seems.